As a recruiter, I work very closely with candidates in their job hunt. And one thing I've noticed is that when candidates enter their job hunt and they search for a new job, particularly if they are unemployed or they're in a casual perspective, they never really develop a routine behind the job hunt. And a lot of the time, people think that the job hunt is literally just applying for a bunch of jobs on Seek or Indeed and simply hoping for the best. The reality is there is such a wider range of opportunity to apply for jobs, and there are so many avenues to get started. But the biggest problem is that our egos are so high to get started, we don't actually take a step back, plan a schedule, and build from this. And this is what I'm going to be talking a little bit about in this episode. So, our core lesson for today is to start small and low. It is better than yesterday. Okay. A big part of the job hunt is that it seems like this overwhelming thing. Okay. At the moment, we are here, we're at point A, we don't have a job. Okay. We need to get to point B, which is job. Okay. And that journey, no one knows the route. No one knows how we're going to get there. No one knows the field we're going to take, the road we're going to take, what transport we're going to take. No one knows anything. We just know where we are and we know where we want to be. Okay. A lot of people, and I think a lot of people have got this perception that the job application system is literally just applying for jobs on Seek or Indeed and going from there and hoping for the best, which just think about that for a second. Like, if your entire mindset, or maybe 60% of your mindset when doing something, is going to come down to luck, you need to be reevaluating things, because that is not a valuable, sustainable system. That is not something that is going to help you down the track. Okay. A lot of people, when I talk to them about how they got their first jobs and whatnot, they always say, "Oh, I was very lucky. Yeah, I was very lucky to get this job." You don't want to ever be relying on luck. You want to be able to develop a system that is going to help you so much in being able to work towards your end goal consistently. Okay, you need to develop the routine. But the problem is, no one wants to start creating the routine. No one wants to take that first step because the ego is too high. Now, what do I mean by this? Okay, so an example will be what you will do is, okay, and this is something that I used to do as well. So let's go back to when I'm part time working at my first job at a swim school, still in uni, trying to get a full time job. Okay, I just spammed job applications. Okay, spammed applications. All right, I had this idea that the more I would apply for, the better chances I would get for an opportunity. Okay, definitely not wrong, but definitely not sustainable either. Okay, and what would happen is the first few times I did this, I would do maybe 20 applications one day. And then in my head, I'll be like, "Oh, well, I did 20 today. I can chill today. I don't have to do any today. I don't have to worry about it tomorrow or the day after." Okay. Soon enough, I've gone a week and I've only applied for 20 jobs. Okay. Whereas if I developed a system where I would say, maybe let's apply for 5 jobs a day. Okay. Instead of just doing 20 on the first day, I could have done 5 from Monday to Friday and have 25 jobs applied for. 5 more than what I intended to, and I'll be doing it a lot more consistently. Okay. The same process is like when you go to the gym. Okay. If it's your first day in the gym, or let's say even you used to go to the gym and you haven't gone back in like a year or 2 years, you're not going to load up the weight for the first time with your PR, are you? You're going to start small. You're going to start with the bar. You're going to start with 5 kgs, 10 kgs, whatever it is. You're going to start small and you're going to build up from there. Okay. It's no different to how you should be planning your job hunt. Okay. You need to be looking at what you did yesterday compared to today. Okay. Develop the system. Okay. Start incredibly small. So with your job hunt search, okay, with your job search, all right, what you need to be thinking about is, realistically, you want to be maybe having the target of applying for 2 jobs today, and I want to message one person today. Not even message. I want to find one person in my industry to connect with. Okay? It is that ability to just create the smallest goal, but acknowledge that it is better than yesterday, and that will put you forward and it will push you in a better direction moving forward from this day that you need to take and need to learn from and need to go from with there. Okay? It's very, very important with our goal setting that we start incredibly small, because then what we're able to do from there is take that foundation and grow from there. Okay? Now, why? Why would we want to do this? Well, At the end of the day, your job hunt, the job hunt is essentially what you put in is what you get out of it. Okay, I love that quote, and I think that works really, really well. All right, if you are only applying for one job a day for the next year, it's not going to work. Okay, you're only going to have 365 applications. It's not the best. Okay, your chances are a lot lower than if you're applying for two jobs a day or whatever it is. Okay, now we need to, now just because the output is not the greatest at the start doesn't mean that we don't aim towards something higher later on. So just because I'm telling you to apply for one job tomorrow because it's progress over yesterday, that doesn't mean that then in 6 months' time you're still doing just one job. No, no, no. You can grow, you can develop after a week, maybe do two jobs a day or three jobs a day, whatever it is, and continuously grow. Do the progressive overload like you're in the gym. But when you start, it's so important to just actually develop a system that you're going to actually enjoy doing. Okay, so you need to actually create this process of your job search being a core part of your day for until you get your first job. Okay, and so what this looks like is this doesn't have to be anything crazy. I literally started off with just 10 minutes a day applying for jobs. Okay, and in those 10 minutes I wanted to crack as many quick applies as possible. Okay, you could look at it in the metric of I want to apply for three jobs, or I want to spend 10 minutes on my job search, or 15 minutes, or I want to message one person. Whatever your metric is, as long as it was more than what you've done yesterday with zero, you're already making progress. And that is extremely valuable when entering this job search, okay? Because at the end of the day, the job search will reward consistency, okay? The job search will reward consistency, and it will reward the person who has the right philosophy and takes that as they move on with their life. Okay, you want to be able to not look at the job hunt as something that is going to require luck or just something that you hit and hope and you see what happens. The job search is literally the ability to create a system, stick to that system, trust the system, and grow over time. Okay, so how do we apply this practically? Okay, well, the first thing you want to do is set an appropriate goal. Okay, so a lot of the time when people do their goal setting, they do very vague goals. It's like, go to gym more, or apply for more job, or work harder, things along these lines. Like, you can't measure that. Okay, so the first thing that I would say is just literally set the target, like a proper target, 3 applications a day, 1 connection a day, 1 message a day. Like, actually write the numbers down so you know what you have to work towards every single day. Okay. And the second practical implementation is that you are literally going to add this into your routine. Okay. So I'm somebody that I live a highly structured life. Okay. It's like maybe too structured sometimes, like, say, because I love getting up at about 4:30. So normally speaking, so Monday to Friday, I like to get up at about normally 4 o'clock. We'll say 4 o'clock, and then at the moment, because I've been off work, it's been 5 o'clock. But still, I like to get up at 4 o'clock. Now, what that means is that obviously I can't go to bed at midnight, so I like to fall asleep at about 8:30. Okay, Monday to Thursday, that's my routine. So Saturday mornings, I get up at about 5:36, just depending on what I have the night before. But I'm a highly structured person. Okay, so if I'm a little bit late to my routine, I get very flustered. I get very annoyed. Okay, you don't have to be to that degree, but it's very important that you live a structured routine so you know what you're going to be doing by the half an hour or hour. Okay, even if you miss certain things in your routine, okay, you are still better than the person with no routine. Okay, the reason being as well is when you have that routine, you have direction. So you know that it is something to do in your day. That's what I love doing. Okay. If I have a routine and I'm like, okay, it's 6 a.m. I need to do this, 7 a.m. I need to do that, 8 a.m. I need to do that. Okay. It's good to do that. It's good to have that in writing. Because even if I miss it, I can still go back to it as I reflect on my day. And I'm like, oh, okay, haven't done this yet. I can do this now, or I can do this tomorrow morning. Beautiful. It keeps it in your brain to do something or to add to it later on. Okay. So what you need to focus on doing is creating that practical time in your day where you are going to dedicate some time into your job hunt. And we need to remember, we need to lower this ego nice and early. Start incredibly small with your goals, with your targets, and throughout time, the more comfortable you get doing it, you grow expectations, and you deliver more. Okay? I hope you guys got some value from this video. If you guys enjoyed and you do want to work with me on a one-to-one level, click the link below for a free consultation. Happy to organize a 30-minute chat where we can work out your goals and how we can work together from there. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Take care, and I will see you guys next time.